Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're unpacking a concept that comes up all the time in the modern dating world, and, well, it almost always gets a notoriously bad rep. We're talking about the idea of not being attached in a relationship. When you hear the phrase, they just aren't attached, what immediately pops into your head? For most of us, we picture someone who's, icy, aloof, or just plain heartless. But what if we've been looking at this entirely backwards? What if this supposed flaw is actually a total superpower?
Which brings us to the absolute central dilemma we're tackling today. Is being unattached a brilliant sign of emotional maturity, or is it a massive, flashing red flag? Think about your own past relationships for a second. Or, hey, maybe the one you're in right now. When someone doesn't completely lose themselves in a romance, does it mean they're cold and keeping you at arm's length? Or does it mean they're actually just operating from a foundation of profound psychological health? It's incredibly easy to confuse the two, and honestly, that confusion causes a lot of unnecessary heartbreak.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, what is non-attachment? We really need to clearly define this mindset because the source material offers this absolutely fascinating reframe of what the concept actually means in practice. So the source defines non-attachment to relationships not as an absence of feeling, but as a mature, self-stable psychological mindset. This instantly busts the pervasive myth that being unattached equates to being emotionally cold or uncaring. Actually, scratch that. It's literally the exact opposite. It's a state of equilibrium. You aren't avoiding emotion. You're managing it from a place of deep, deep internal stability. Let's look at how this builds into actionable behaviors.
True, healthy non-attachment shows up in three really distinct ways. First up, they can invest emotionally without over-relying. This means they give their heart, for sure, but they don't hand over the keys to their entire existence. Second, they don't use their partner as their sole emotional support. They've got friends, hobbies, a whole life outside the romance. They don't demand that one human being carry the weight of all their happiness. And third, they accept changes, even painful ones, like separating, rationally, because they haven't made the relationship their entire universe, and ending, while definitely sad, doesn't fundamentally destroy them. This mindset acts like an incredible shield against relationship anxiety, mostly because it's built on rock-solid personal boundaries.
All right, moving on to Section 2, 2 common misunderstandings. Because true non-attachment looks so calm and collected on the surface, it frequently gets mistakenly lumped in with actual, genuine toxic behaviors. People see the calmness and totally misdiagnose it.
Let's compare these two massive red flags side by side to clear up the confusion. On the left, we have the concept of not valuing the relationship. This person is totally unwilling to invest time or energy, and they pretty much ignore their partner's feelings. The core issue here isn't that they know how to let go, it's that they never actually put anything in to begin with. On the flip side, we have being fickle. This involves frequent partner changes and staying super ambiguous with multiple people. The core issue here isn't non-attachment, it's simply a lack of exclusivity. Honestly, the fickle person is kind of like someone at an all-you-can-eat buffet, taking a little scoop of everything, but totally refusing to sit down and commit to a single satisfying meal. Neither of these are the healthy non-attachment we just defined.
So how do we actually tell these apart in the wild? Section 3, how to differentiate them. For this next part, I want you to treat this explainer like your very own psychological field guide to spot the differences between a mature partner and a toxic one.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that by visualizing the depth of investment, we can perfectly categorize three distinct archetypes. First is the genuine, our truly unattached but healthy person who loves earnestly, dives right in, but fiercely keeps their sense of self. Compare that to the uninvested, whose depth is basically zero. They were never serious from the very start. And finally, the fickle, who offers a little bit of love for many, but never ever goes deep. By looking at how deep someone is willing to go, the mask instantly comes off the uninvested and the fickle.
To really cut through the confusion, we need Section 4, the ultimate litmus test. We've defined the traits, we've mapped out the archetypes, but when you're thick in the middle of a confusing romance, you need a foolproof way to test whether your partner, or honestly, even yourself, is truly emotionally mature or just emotionally unavailable. So the absolutely crucial point comes down to the single, powerful question. Did they genuinely invest? That is the entire secret to this source material unlocked right there. If the answer is yes, if someone invested their time, their care, and their vulnerability, but they just aren't over-reliant on you to survive, wow, that is incredibly healthy. Celebrate that. But if you look back and realize their depth of feeling has always been remarkably shallow from day one, you need to be highly vigilant. Shallow waters masquerading as calm waters is exactly where people get hurt.
I want to end this explainer with a lingering thought for you to take with you today. Just look at this question. If a relationship ends tomorrow, are you losing your partner or are you losing yourself? A healthy, non-attached person only loses their partner. Their core self remains completely intact. I challenge you to reflect on your own emotional independence today. Where are your boundaries? Are you loving deeply while standing firmly on your own 2 feet? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you navigate your own connections with a lot more clarity and a whole lot more peace.